your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn, and it is that time when we hear from people in the travel and tourism industry, the best of the best, the gurus of bargains, the luminaries of budget travel. And this week, we welcome to the program Howard Hillman, who has a website, hillmanwonders.com, that sees millions of hits, people trying to get information on international travel. So we thought we'd pick Howard's brain a little bit, and he's got a few trips in mind that are, I don't know, I would call them bucket list trips, like things that you want to do before you die, things that you need to see around the world. And I believe cruises are connected to these as well. Howard, welcome to the program.
Hi, Randall. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And how did you get started with this site? Because it has a lot of hits, and so people clearly love what you're offering.
Well, years ago, when I was in 8th grade, I started my own bucket list, places I wanted to see, and eventually it grew and grew, and I put it on the internet. And now we have over 2,000 pages, and we have 1.3 million readers per year on it.
Wow!
And it's my whole goal is simply, I really want to inspire people to see, as much of this world as they can. It's just a wonderful world.
Was it Mark Twain who said the antidote to what's the word I'm trying to think of? Ignorance. The antidote to ignorance is travel.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. And it's also it's enlightening, and it is a wonderful world. And cruises are now becoming a big part of it. In fact, we have over our 2,000-page website, we have about 200 pages full of cruise tips and insights. And we also have a list of the top 10 cruise destinations. And this very fits into what you said about a bucket list.
Right.
And the top three, and you give tips and insights on them, are number one is Antarctica.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's talk about your what you're recommending for Antarctica.
Well, first of all, the two mistakes that travelers often make is relating to the boat selection and when they go. The best time to go to the Antarctica which is the peak season, is mid-December to late February, and the seas are calmer and the wildlife viewing is at its best. In fact, you'll see go through the penguin colonies where the hatching process is going through, and you can see these cute little penguins, fluffy feathered penguins. Now, if you can go, there is no, by the way, season during the Antarctic winter because the boats simply cannot get in because of the pack ice.
It's just too bitter cold. Yeah. But
you can go from the early season. You can go then from November to early December. Mm-hmm. And it has an advantage. The big one, of course, is the prices are lower and it's easier to get a reservation. But on the other hand, it's a little colder, and sometimes the ship won't be able to get near the certain areas of the continent because of the pack ice that won't let them in.
How about the end of the peak season, like as we start getting closer to spring here?
Yeah, that's late February to March. Mm-hmm. And again, the prices are lower and availability is more. But one of the big disadvantages of it is when you go ashore in the Zodiac, so you go these paths exploring the continent, the trails you go on, they're trails that were created by other people in front of you, tend to be mushy and muddy in areas.
Oh, right.
So I would really take the peak season, and as far as I said earlier about the boat, is definitely go for the best boat that you can afford, and the best boat down there is the Silver Explorer, and it's a truly luxury boat, but it only has about 132 passengers aboard.
Oh, okay. So it's not one of those big like Princess cruise lines. It's a tinier one.
Yeah, and they have Zodiacs. You get 2 excursions a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and they have what you're also getting for that extra money. You're getting some top-notch lecturers and naturalists, and you're also the dining is quite good on it. But that's but if you cannot afford, or if you can only afford the least expensive one, although many disadvantages on it, do it, because Antarctica is the closest you'll ever come to being on a distant planet. It is beautiful, and to see the wildlife down there, it's a must on your bucket list.
Okay. One of the top place, when I saw, you gave me the three that you're going to talk about, and when I saw the middle one, I was like, okay, this one is definitely has been on my bucket list. Galapagos Islands.
Oh, yeah. What a great place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and again, the season is not like in most places. There is no bad season in the Galapagos.
Because they're on the equator, right?
Yeah, they're on the equator, and there's basically two seasons, or official seasons. The wet seasons from January to March. The dry seasons are the other months, April through December. A lot of people stay away from the wet season because they think of all this rain and so forth. Well, it doesn't rain that much. And when it does rain, it just comes for about a half hour, an hour, and goes away.
It's probably refreshing.
Yeah, and now you say, well, why wouldn't the dry season be better? Because there's often a kind of a gray overcast on the skies during that period. So you get your nice, bright, sunny days, and I'm sure when you go to the Galapagos, you bring your camera along, and you're going to get some great shots. And again, go for the best boat you can afford. The best is the Celebrity Expedition, and it runs goes out 7 days, visits the various islands. Now, if you can't afford it, you can get the smaller ship. But remember, the Galapagos is really in the middle of the Pacific. Those islands are really the peaks of volcanoes sticking out.
Oh,
and so when a storm comes, whatever, you're out there in the middle of an ocean,
right? And
your boat can get tossed around a lot. And another one I would recommend not going on, although they're very romantic in concept, are these long sailing boats.
Oh, right.
But the trouble with those are if the sea kicks up, they're long and narrow. They can rock back and forth.
Hey,
but
Howard.
A small boat is if your goal is to do diving or snorkeling. A small boat has an advantage, but the big boats, even the Celebrity Expeditions, have their own diving.
Right.
And facilitate.
All right, Howard, we're gonna have to stop you there. We didn't get to the Mediterranean, but they can find that information at your site, hillmanwanders.com, which we have a link at eatdrinkexplore.com under our program summaries. Howard Hillman joining us this morning from New York. Thank you, sir.